Michael Myers took our dreams and turned them into nightmares.
The original John Carpenter film is so meaningful to me as just a movie lover and as a kid that was literally tormented by this horror movie.
I love this franchise.
There he is.
There are so many die-hard Halloween fans.
The fandom that is with this film is real, and it's huge.
He creeps, he kills, he goes home.
And that's where we're going.
I get fan notes. I read it all.
Did Michael kill again?
This kind of worship of the villain is curious.
I don't want to see slow-mo kills. I don't want to see a total bloodbath. Give me a bloodbath. What does the audience want to see? What do I want to see? The answer is I want to see Michael and Laurie tussle one last time.
It's been an evolution. It's about finding a unique journey to build toward that ultimate climax.
He's waited for me. I've waited for him.
Halloween 2018 allowed David to play in the John Carpenter sandbox.
You and Allison should not have to keep running.
Halloween Kills was balls to the wall with splatter and gore.
We made our explosive Michael Myers opera. He's the shark driving the story.
It is purely a film for the slasher fans. People who are like, I want to see more Michael killing. Well, you got it, you know?
And then with Halloween Ends, in a lot of ways we started with the ending. How do you want to say goodbye to these characters?
Hi, boys. I'm about to get the shit kicked out of me.
It stops here. We see this.
Go into the thing. Yes.
That fight has to make sense. It has to be relevant. It has to be powerful. It has to be emotional.
Is the blood on the floor and on him?
Does it put up more of a struggle when he's taking the mask off? But you don't want the entire story to just service that fight. You don't want to just like a bunch of close calls and all of that kind of shit. You want to tell a meaty story that thematically ties into the nature of Michael Myers.
You should surrender to that feeling you had the first time you ever looked into his eyes.
I've read theories, I've read all of this stuff, and what I love is that absolutely no one is going to guess what the story is that brings us to that point.
Because your boogeyman disappeared. They needed a new one.
It's like I saw his eyes, Michael's eyes, in Corey.
It's incredibly important to wrap up the trilogy with Laurie Strode.
As the town turned in on itself, I made a promise not to let fear rule my life anymore.
She's operating in a less fearful and paranoid way, and she's sort of an evolved version.
New frame of mind, new house, new perspective.
But, you know, it's a Halloween film, and, you know, that happiness isn't going to last forever.
At the end of the day, the reason we're fans of Halloween is Michael Myers. That terrifying pale gray mask and the void behind his eyes.
The idea of someone that you don't want in your house with a knife really sucks. Everyone else is kind of in his wake and in his path. It always comes back to Michael.
We want to see the brawl, man. We want to see it end. You know, Halloween Ends, that's what we all asked for.
The challenge is like, how do we bring those two together again?
Even people that worked on the set didn't have the script. Part of the fun for me as an audience member is having the anticipation of something, but the mystery of something, the allure of what this chapter has to offer. Someone's got a fact, or they've got a spoiler, or they think they know the ending. You know, there's something that people get out of that. I don't get it.
We all know where this movie goes. We all know so many stories and threads of it. Let's try to keep it a secret.
I just said pretty please to the fans and the crew and said, I think it's gonna be a lot more interesting if you don't know where it's gonna end.
Let's try to have the audience have as much fun watching this as I know Paul and I had writing this and trying to evolve.
You know, we all learn the truth about each other eventually. Laurie doesn't see Michael coming. So the fight with Michael is unexpected, and it has to be like a street brawl.
As long as it doesn't look like a movie fight, I will be happy.
These characters aren't trained martial artists. They're normal, everyday Haddonfield people that are caught in this extraordinary circumstance. So make it messy, make it dirty. To us is make it real.
Rear back would be like this. It has to be brutal. And then it should look messy and raw.
Man, it's a dance between James and Jamie.
3, 2, 1, action.
This is the knife. This is your head. This is whatever this is. Oh. That's better. See, from this angle, it's creepier. From Paul's angle.
I was there every day, and I did not need to be. And I watched every frame of that final showdown as a fan.
That one was pretty sick.
Yeah, it worked perfect.
We also need this as he turns towards the pantry.
A variety of hand gestures, like even hitting his leg or paw is good. Plucking it, trying to rip it.
Really struggle to pull it. Yeah, great. Push.
Nothing compares to this. This was just brutal. She took a freaking beating, and so did I.
Sorry, I hit him in his knee. Sorry, Jim.
That's okay.
You'll pull it out as he rises, it's coming with you.
Yes, ready, sit up. See what I mean? I will go backwards.
Man, we hit the ground and tussled and rolled.
These are real.
She did 99% of all of her stuff on this.
Everybody gets their chance to get their ass kicked, you know what I mean?
And then it's 3, 2, 1.
Everything is breakaway except these 3 pieces right here.
They wanted to pat her up, and she was like, no, my clothes are tight. You're gonna see them. I'm not gonna do that.
Don't worry about it. In the slide.
Anytime we feel like we might be pushing her too hard, she'd just be like, no, let's do this. I mean, I pity whoever picks on her in the street, because they got a cat by the tail.
Oh, that's so good. Look at that shot. Look how good that is. You're just a man who's about to stop breathing.
A story like this is never going to have a happy ending, per se, but it doesn't have to leave us devastated. There's been so many movies that have, quote-unquote, killed the boogeyman, but then he always finds a way to regenerate, restore, some sort of twist that gets him back up for the next chapter. We've done a lot of damage to this dude, but what can we do to really say night-night?
After I saw that, I went, oh, damn, man. Fans are gonna frickin' love this one.
This is a movie that, to me, is a love song, a tribute to the fans. A love song to Laurie and Michael and whatever their fucked up relationship is.
We all knew on the first one that something special was happening.
The DNA of John Carpenter.
This thing that was created and that David nurtured and that the other writers put on page.
The essence of Jamie Lee Curtis.
It's the evil that always existed and will always be with us.
Just as Frankenstein's monster and Dracula and vampires and zombies find new ways to have their stories told, Michael Myers, he'll find a new way to show up in some other shape.
It has been incredibly emotional for me in every scene. 40 years with this character. In 1978, I had no idea what the worldwide love and affection for Laurie Strode and Michael Myers would be.
Jamie Lee Curtis defines the Halloween franchise.
You know it's a Halloween movie when Jamie Lee Curtis steps on set. You know where you're at.
The backbone is Laurie Strode versus this evil.
That is the heart and soul of Halloween.
She was a kid who was just walking to school and got in the wrong person's path. She never asked for any of this.
The irony is the 2018 movie and kills were about a woman who was prepared for Michael every day of her life. This is a movie where she's actually moved on. I'm hopeful that the truth will heal.
We wanted to see a different side of Laurie. We had met the innocent 17-year-old from 1978, and then the traumatic version of somebody living with all that misery.
You provoked that man when you should have left him alone. How do you live with yourself?
What has she dealt with? How has she come through this? And how is she strengthened through this process?
I've said goodbye to my boogeyman.
New beginnings lay ahead.
And then Michael comes back. Watching her deal with that has been challenging and painful.
Jamie Lee Curtis is a badass.
Her determination and her passion for the character.
She's someone I call and say, what would Laurie do?
She was an honor student. She was going to be valedictorian before Michael Myers.
She can take my words, make them even better than they were on the page, and that is a gift to a fan.
When you have to stand there and look Jamie Lee Curtis in the eyes and you're telling yourself you're in Haddonfield, you're in Halloween, the little kid in you starts to freak out.
And you're going, you guys, this is historic. I mean, this is amazing.
Stunning work.
Don't tell Jamie we're filming.
No, don't tell her, guys.
Jamie is such an enthusiastic force every single day.
This entire crew trusts her and trusts her input.
I'm a team player. I will not abandon you, Brody, and your time of need.
We just have such a unique friendship in Hollywood. We just love and support each other.
The creative powerhouse that she is just keeps the enthusiasm and the motivation.
How about this? Could Jamie,
What, David? What?
Inevitably, that just injects energy to this crew.
Working with Jamie, they tell you what to say, so you get to relax a little bit and know what to say back to her. The second camera stops rolling and it's Jamie, it's probably more nerve-wracking talking to Jamie than it is talking to Laurie. They're both scary, I don't know.
The whole concept of a horror movie is to stimulate emotions, and the making of it does the same thing. So to have done it 3 times with a group of people and knowing that I'm not going to get to do it again with that same group of people really has been very tough for me.
Shoot now. Go.
It will be difficult to say goodbye to this group of people.
It's her legacy, and it's now part of ours. It's sad to say that our inspiration and our drive is ending today with Jamie Lee Curtis of Halloween.
I think it's just amazing that the last thing I got to say was, it's nice to see you. And it was really nice to see you all for all this time, and I'll miss you. So fucking sad. So, thank you so much for all of it.
It's time to lock your doors. Grab your knife for the fight.
Halloween in Haddonfield, let's go!
To me, it's finding the universe of Haddonfield. This is a town that's been really devastated by Michael Myers in 1978 and again in 2018. And so we see a town that is angry, that is depressed, that is disturbed.
We've gotten to explore the edges of Haddonfield, to get to know Dr. Mathis, to get to know this auto shop and all these little peripheral areas and all the peripheral people and how they've all been affected in their own specific ways by these massacres.
I feel like I won an extra life.
There are people just trying to go about their lives. At the same time, you just kind of get this feeling of, where's Michael?
The first one's very much Laurie Strode's story. The second one, that's Karen's story. It's like the third one needs to be more Allison-focused. She experienced an incredible tragedy in the last film and lost pretty much everybody.
Can you move on? Are you allowed to move on?
Allison's found a stride of being fine. I don't think she's necessarily happy. I think that she's still a work in progress, which is incredibly human.
My friends are dead. My parents are dead.
Trying to wake up every day not scared and alone.
She does realize that there is a lot underneath that she needs to release in order to move forward, and she's able to connect with Corey quite a bit on that.
I'm just terrified to think what would happen if she were all alone if I left.
This is a love story. As David likes to refer to it, he's making an indie love story in the middle of a horror movie.
Everybody thinks that they know them and what their trauma is.
She's got a little bit of the residual anger and grief, even a little bit of madness in there that's just propelling her into these new waters.
Michael Myers is who you are.
It ended with Lori and Allison going separate ways. It's real. You can't tie up their lives with a pretty bow at the end of this and make it all okay, because it's not okay, and they'll never be okay.
Heavy shit in the middle of a horror movie.
I've survived all these years. It's not fucking taking me down now.
Somebody help!
Take her to the emergency room, please.
I was wheeled into the hospital. It didn't look like life-threatening injuries, but I didn't know I was going to be coming back to Halloween Ends.
It's a different movie.
Yeah. Lindsay and Lori are the original survivors of this, and you know, it's only fitting that all these years later that we're here together.
After so long, these two women have actually now bonded as friends.
It's not a big city where everybody gets lost and is insignificant. These relationships overlap and evolve, and you can go from a babysitter to a best friend.
Are we like this?
It's a good look.
Yeah, everything you wear is good.
How many people can say, you know, oh, we played these characters in 1978, and now this is our third film together.
Really nice. One more time.
There's beautiful poetry in that.
Makes you feel good.
The 2018 movie felt just like the 1978 movie. Scrappy, fast, let's go make a movie.
It was deja vu. He had his gang, someone from film school and stuff like that. John had his gang from film school.
That has continued with these Halloween movies. We're all still scrappy, trying to pull off these movies like a hat trick.
It's day 32. What is the biggest takeaway we've had?
Blood is very sticky. You pull that fluff off my finger now.
Weird business we work in. Yeah, yeah.
Wash the eye, still gushing.
I'm not playing Michael Myers this time, you know. I'm playing my first speaking role in any motion picture. David said, no, let's do something different this time.
See anything you like?
There's something very distinct about a David Gordon Green production.
It's all good. Just rock and roll.
The promise I made myself is just don't look like a loser in front of David Gordon Green. Just try and be cool with David, like don't get too excited.
This is gonna be so cool. I think it'll work.
Okay.
David is really good at bringing people together.
Jesse, say, I don't know why she keeps slating in the middle of everything.
I don't know why she keeps slating in the middle of everything.
He's a very flexible author. You know, he can meander through all sorts of obstacles and figure out a more interesting way to tell the story.
Oh, you're drinking the milk.
No, I'm a milkman myself. Yeah, I'm a milkman myself.
David somehow made band kids the cool kids, which is the most David Gordon Green thing ever, and it rocks.
Up and you get that wine off camera.
I'd like you standing for that line.
I like the fact that he's willing to change things all the time.
To throw ideas, to see what sticks, to challenge him on anything that he's coming up with.
I told him to lean out too much.
Yeah, I think it's not bad.
We're very flexible and play jazz together a lot.
I wish everybody could have a ticket to watching David shoot.
There's a looseness with each other. It's fantastic.
I want to do a sitcom. You know what I mean?
There's so many smiles when you walk onto this set.
That secret sauce of camaraderie and mutual respect, and I dare say love for each other.
People are sharing lots of information with me today.
That is the beauty of being a member of a crew.
He's back!
What's up?
He's back!
What up, dog? This movie is really driven by a family of hardworking individuals. They each put their own signature touch on everything.
Do we all agree we have this shot? This is a bathroom story?
Yes. I've been incredibly spoiled to get to work with these people. We've really created a family here.
To be honest, on Halloween Ends, it was a blast, the entire thing. We as a crew, I don't think could have laughed more.
So should I?
Oh, fucking hell, Jesus Christ. How are you in there?
I'm working with a bunch of people that have worked with each other for a long time now, and they have their rhythm and they have their dialogue with each other, and to learn it, it's really a fun place.
I'm glad that I know you at this stage where you're still humble and hardworking before you become like a famous shithead actor.
For it to be the last one is very bittersweet.
It is the final fucking Halloween wrap for Kyle Richards.
I always hate the final scene. I hate when they say, trick the gate, it's the end, finished, because it's emotional for me.
This has been a huge part of my life and a huge part of my growing up. I booked this in 2017, and it's 2022. It's 5 years of my life, and a lot has happened.
Every time she walks on set, she evokes a smile and an inspiration. And I'm saying all these things not because I'm rapping her, because I'm not sure if I'm rapping her. I'm just celebrating Andi.
It being the last and the final and the third, and it's just a lot more visceral this go round.
You know, there are two kinds of evil. The evil that exists as an external force. The other kind of evil lives inside us, like a sickness.
In this chapter, we find a new villainous character that is an unlikely candidate to inherit the throne of the Shape. And so that character starts to evolve from someone that we empathize with, and then slowly starts to unravel and find himself drawn toward the allure of this darkness.
Corey is a character who is dealing with his own trauma and has this connection with Myers.
Corey.
Hi. Corey's just a sweetheart. It felt like I was playing a version of like David or our writer Paul when they were Corey's age.
We went through so many ideas, but one thing that we kept coming back to was just the idea of babysitting. And Corey Cunningham became a part of the story.
Michael Myers kills babysitters, not kids.
It's interesting that they chose to open this last movie with a babysitter, since the original conception of Halloween was a babysitter slasher movie set on Halloween night.
Jeremy?
The opening of this movie is every parent's worst nightmare.
The accident happens, and it kind of reshapes him completely.
I just wanted it to be a fun night, and then it all went bad.
It takes a kid that we meet for the first 10 minutes of the film and turns him into something completely different, a lot like Michael did to Haddonfield. And so he's sort of the personification of that trauma.
Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to scare you. I'm just waiting for Allison.
Allison sort of comes into the film and picks Corey up and forces him to face normalcy in a way.
I'm gonna go help Ronald and I'll fix the rattle.
I don't care about the rattle. I came to see you. It's not a conventional love story. What they have is incredibly unique. They're just two very broken people. Everybody has an idea of who they are and what they go through, and they can connect on that. Oh my God, are you okay?
I don't know what's happening to me.
Corey's inner conflict through this whole movie is trying to hold on to the good left in him. I think it was really important to me and David that we asked the audience the ethical question in every scene in this movie. What would you do if you've been through this? And what would you do if you were seen this way?
When I first read about the cave scene, it obviously not only represents where Michael's been dwelling, but it's also where Corey goes through his own transformation.
The reawakening of Michael Myers was just like an electric energy. We had never seen someone encouraging Michael to do what he does.
Get out! That energy of Corey was well beyond duality. This is beyond dark and light and right and wrong. And really is all about the feeling of those moments when Corey and I connected. And that recognition sort of pervades everything.
They kind of echo each other. And in fact, Corey kind of learns by watching Michael. And so there's chapters where he is sloppy and then he watches the master. And Corey is almost just absorbing it all.
In the scene where Rohan takes the mask, I walked over to Rohan. I said, Rohan, jack me up, motherfucker. Jack me up as hard as you can. Slam me down as hard as you can, because we're going to make this work.
You're just a man in a Halloween mask.
I could see he was afraid because he knew this was like really violent. And but then, boom, all of a sudden he became Corey. And then as soon as we yell cut, then I hear David go, "Yay, we got it!" You know, and it's those moments, man, that you live for.
Oh, nice. Look at that. That's an incredible, incredible sequence. All of Corey's kills have some sort of twisted sense of justice, where Myers is just like a psychopath. It's a different tale of the effects of evil on the psyche.
Rohan is one of the kindest and most respectful people I've ever met and worked with. And it's been really, really fun working with him.
Rohan's a freaking amazing actor. What a talent that kid is. He works so hard, he's so studied, he's so humble.
You needed someone that could play an optimistic, ambitious, kind of nerdy intellectual in the opening, but by the end of it, it needed to be a real threat. Rohan, he had that. He had that optimism. Then you also saw something dark behind his eyes, something alluring and mysterious. And I saw a photo of him. I said, yeah, he looks like a guy that's been punched in the face a few times, but he's come out pretty handsome. He's like taking those hits like a champ.
Yeah, and watch this. Action.
He's unbelievable. It takes a very specific human being to step into the role that he stepped into. Because it's a lot. He has to step in and carry a huge chunk of the weight of the movie on his back.
One of my biggest lessons I learned on this set was making a horror film, you have to keep it light sometimes because it gets really, really dark.
That's going on.
Just exploring a little bit more of the kind of midnight madness of horror movies.
Look toward camera.
You know, you hit these punctuation marks of dread, which is so important, and intensity.
We build upon John Carpenter's 1978 film, honor that as a part of the past, and then we try to put a spin on it.
This one gives us a little chance to let the fear permeate into Haddonfield and the paranoia.
If Halloween Kills was about fear turning people into monsters, this movie goes back to evil's infectious. And a lot of creeping about and atmosphere and classical slasher aesthetic language.
All that matters is what's on the screen.
You ready in case the boogeyman decides to come out and play?
Michael, in this chapter, the events of Halloween Kills really fucked him up.
So this is the end of Halloween Kills. We have the fire, and then we have the other blood, knife slashes.
This woman is so on top of shit.
The hardest part of working on a horror film is continuity.
Say they wanted to do a flashback to scene 100 part 2, we can say, oh, this is the coverall. Special effects rig left a hole that was this big. Then the next time we see those bullet holes, they look more in the realm of our post-bullet hole. What we're thinking about is what's happened to this person, where they've been, what they've been through, and what has happened to the clothes.
He's gone away to rot, you know, kind of like an animal will just walk into the woods and die.
He's gonna be very dirty and moldy. This will all be all the mud from the cave. They have blood all over, and they've gotten dirtier.
It's such a present experience, you know? Because every time you change the costume changes mood.
When it comes to the mask, I certainly didn't want to just redo 2018 or Kills. Michael Myers in this movie has a completely different vibe. It was hard on this one because you could easily go too far and have this wreck of a mask and wreck of a character that just blend into the background. You have to maintain a silhouette that fans recognize. So the idea for me was to kind of strip it down to the bare latex. That's what this side of the mask is, the natural progression of exactly where he should be at this moment in this story.
When I read the script, the cave, in my mind, was much smaller than what we have on that stage right now.
The cave set is the first thing that I started working on with my set designer. It's certainly a very different kind of set than we've done on any of the Halloween movies, so it was fun and refreshing to get to jump into that. We're trying to have this claustrophobic environment, which in reality is difficult to shoot in. We need space to light and to do the stunts.
You're trying to justify light in an environment that wouldn't have light. So is it a crack in the concrete from above or a sewer grate? But then it also keeps that mystery of what's in the shadows.
I just would like to start with the wall so we can see our rodent friends scampering around.
2 days ago, David was like, I'd love to get some rats in there. Once you're on that stage and you just see a little rat run across the tunnel, you're like, oh, this is legit.
This is beautiful. This is incredible.
A little rat goes a long way.
Hopefully it looks filthy and looks scary and dangerous.
This boogeyman been sitting in hibernation, but trust me, y'all, he'll be back.
We always knew there was going to be a radio station. We designed the tower for the radio station in Halloween Kills, which you get to see in a few scenes. And so finally, in Ends, we got to build the actual radio station. WURG is this giant pop of color in the middle of a depressed and a dying town. I think all the color is a fun relief from some of the other darker places in Haddonfield.
There's so many strange detours and genres and shooting styles in each of these sequences. That's what I always try to keep it flexible.
Do we need a headlight gag or something, or do we just use the tilt trim?
I don't think anybody would come into Halloween Ends caring as much as me as a shooter. I didn't think anybody would really do it justice.
Let's throw that dolly. Who's ever on that one? Close up here. Why?
I know that he's going to bring something to the table, and he has a different way of looking at everything.
This film is a bit more angsty and kind of a bit more indie, trying to find more suspense. We start most of our prep mornings with a screening.
A lot of John Carpenter movies, so Christine became a big influence. Little shout-outs to The Fog and They Live, and to be able to try to take some of those textures and infuse them into the world of Halloween.
I think the most relevant one was watching 2018, Halloween. The camera's just telling the story it needs to tell, and not trendy, but purposeful.
So here he goes. We cross here, and we see the hole there.
When all these 3 films are completed, they will have some cohesive style.
This is the 3rd film we've worked on together. It's really great just having that camaraderie.
This team has to figure out how to put what's on the page in front of your eyes.
I like the challenge.
I wanted to leave my blood on the floor for these projects.
Just putting together images that we hope to be iconic within this franchise.
Here we go. 3, 2, 1, action!
We don't want every kill to be an opera. We've got to have a degree of ambiguity and subtlety to it.
Corey's kills are sloppy and messy.
Oh, it's so real. He's not Michael. Like, everything Michael does is an art project.
And other times we want to just freak you out.
Willie the Kid ain't scared of no dude in a mask. Give us something to scream about.
Willie the Kid is our radio DJ, and he's kind of just stirring the pot to just rile people up.
Willie the Kid is the shit talker of Haddonfield.
I like when those headphones do to your afro. That's really cool.
You like it?
There's like a perfect line in the middle of it. You ready to get your head bashed in?
Can I help you? From what I understand, tonight I actually died.
You want to just point where blunt force trauma has occurred?
All over this side of her body. I have kind of a vague architecture of an idea, and then I hand it to a genius like Chris Nelson, so I can say, what's your first instinct here?
Hey, Mark.
Diana, how you doing?
Great.
They were great, so gung-ho, and we put him through hell, man.
Go.
It looks so fun. Is there any way to get this straighter?
What we do as far as makeup effects for these films takes time.
No, let's do that as quick as we can, and if not, we'll mess it on take 2.
Not only to build it and plan it, design it, but to execute it.
It's gonna suck for a little bit until we get that shot, but I'll guarantee you when you walk on set, people see you and we get the shot, it's gonna be worth it.
When you're applying that makeup, you have to make sure it's perfectly positioned exactly the way that it was built. Because if I can get it perfect there, then we're good to go on set.
And then he cuts Willie's tongue off with scissors.
No. Oh my God. You're kidding. Please say Mark.
Oh no! Can you breathe in that?
Barely.
Kayron's makeup, half of it's him and half of it's fake, and you're dealing with depth perception.
Why are you making those sounds?
I'm making the sound that I feel.
And an illusion that something is not there that is actually there. What we're doing are creating illusions for people. It's basically a magic trick, making people look here when you're actually doing something over here.
Jamie Lee Curtis looked at me and said, "Don't fuck this up." I was like, I'm definitely not gonna fuck this up. Because Jamie Lee Curtis told me, don't fuck Halloween up.
Come on, Billy, let's get this punk. Oh my God!
Corey kills his tormentors, the band, geeks.
Look toward camera.
You're a lock-off, but your base plate's very wobbly.
The whole junkyard sequence was a trip because it had to be really thought out. We had a very limited time over a couple of nights to be able to film in this location. We're going to be up all night. We're going to be doing some very aggressive physical scenes.
Oh my God. Jesus Christ. So that gets attached to
We have Margot, who's going to get her head and so that's going to be fun.
Action!
Margo!
Chris Nelson had created this mold head.
You're gonna stump her until her brains shit out.
What's inside? Pasta?
Pasta, bananas, kind of shit.
Hamburger helper?
Blood pumps, and it was just so fascinating that he could do that. And that was a lot of fun.
Think that word.
Shit!
I was really excited for the Terry kill.
What I call blowtorch Terry. There's a character named Terry who's going to get a blowtorch shoved in his mouth.
Just to be able to take the welding torch that we established early in the movie as a part of Corey's livelihood, and then we get to show it in a different form.
It hooks up to a battery and the inside of the mouth glows. When you rock the head back, the mouth opens.
This crazy thing happens when you work with Chris Nelson is the head is so real that when you're doing it, it's just the most disturbing, disgusting thing.
Action. Shove it in the mouth, see what happens.
Being able to give them a twisted death scene that was a lot of fun.
Hey, fucking Mark!
It feels like camping with your friends, if you had a lot of friends. And the best part is they can't say no. They have to come hang out with you.
3, 4, fuck you all, 4 in the morning, whatever the time is.
Oh my God.
Jesus, Frank. I'm right. This is not how it is on other movies. Let me just say this out loud.
Like him, Skippy. He's got a side spike. Mooch, you motherfucker. I'll tell you what.
I don't really feel like pretending to be best friends with an ugly-ass boy babysitter.
With an okay, yeah. Crazy makeup, crazy yelling, and crazy dying.
Gotta make sure your hair's on point, you know what I'm saying?
I've been saving this buck. Ooh, shit.
How do you twist my nipple with that in your hand?
Oh, I put them both in my lip.
Oh, you did? Okay.
Ah! My tit!
Can I borrow your bathroom?
I have to go to the bathroom.
Whisper it in her right ear.
I need the bathroom.
Ah!
How do you want to fuck her up?
Just looked like a disease.
I had to say how Allison is feeling right now. It's sad.
So I scream, and then in Jamie's coverage, they had her scream back at me. That is when I realized that I am not and will not ever be a scream queen, and I will always be a scream princess.
Bend over. You fell on a glass of chocolate milk.
Yeah, like chocolate milk, so what? It's my favorite treat, so I get chocolate milk.
Watch this magic, Jamie. Watch this.
I'm watching. I know a good trailer line. You know me, I want to get in the trailer, Dave. I really work my way into the trailer.
You got it. You got it. It just hurts.
Magical. Jump. Jump. Control.
John. Thank you, everybody. David will be very happy with that. Thanks for participating in the end of the Halloween movie.